Yeah, it's cooked, guys. It's cooked. The WNBA is officially cooked, man. Sophie Cunningham will probably be going to Project B as well. I can already see the writing on the wall, and these WNBA players.
All right, buckle up. Sophie Cunningham just shattered weeks of whispers and speculation. But what she revealed isn't just a player negotiating for more cash. No, this next bombshell peels back the curtain on the WNBA's darkest fear, the scenario they've been trying desperately to hide. And I'm not exaggerating for effect, this could very well trigger a full-blown league shutdown. Here's the kicker most people are completely overlooking. These CBA talks? They're not just about paychecks. Behind closed doors, the league is pushing something explosive, exclusivity clauses that would block players from even touching Project B. Imagine that for a second, 7- and 8-figure contracts dangled in front of elite athletes, and the WNBA is demanding they walk away, just to remain loyal. And Sophie? She didn't mince words. She made it absolutely clear where she draws the line. But what comes next is what's really sending shockwaves through the league, the kind of revelation that keeps executives awake at night.
Bell had an interview with one Sophie Cunningham, and she asked her about Project B and some things about the Indiana Fever and things of that nature. And it's very interesting and very telling, some of the things that Caitlin Clark had to say. I said Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham had to say. And
Did you catch that? Really, think about it, why wouldn't you? That single question is about to unravel everything the WNBA has painstakingly built. And here's the real shocker, Sophie isn't some fringe player punching a clock for minimum wage. She's the heartbeat of the Indiana Fever, the very team that delivered the league's most-watched season ever, largely because of Caitlin Clark. If Sophie takes a leap toward Project B, the first domino falls, and the rest? They won't stop tumbling. But hold on, it gets even messier behind the curtain. The last sit-down between WNBA executives and the Players Association? 2 weeks ago. Meanwhile, Project B is out there, tossing multi-million-dollar offers like confetti every single day. And the WNBA? Moving slower than a train stuck on the tracks. What does that tell you? Panic. Chaos. A league suddenly realizing its supposed leverage might be an illusion. And just wait, because what Sophie exposes about the real state of these negotiations. Let's just say it's the kind of revelation that could make the entire league rethink everything overnight.
Cunningham made it clear that when it comes to CBA negotiations, things are not progressing at a pace that seems particularly helpful or even appropriate. She noted that her understanding is the last time the WNBA leaders and the WNBPA met was 2 weeks ago, and said, I know our execs are talking with their people every single day. I don't think there's been much movement. I think at least there's communication. So that's the biggest thing for us. But normally we don't have meetings unless something big is happening or if they need to update us on what they're talking about.
I don't think there's been much movement. That's diplomat speak for one brutal reality. Nothing is moving, and it's moving fast, in the wrong direction. And Sophie? She's far from alone in this. Players across the league are watching these talks drag like a slow-motion disaster, while Project B is out here handing out multi-million-dollar contracts like it's nothing. The mind games? Off the charts. Every day the WNBA stalls, Project B becomes that much more irresistible. Every week that ticks by without a deal, more stars start questioning their loyalty, their future, their very careers. And here's the part that will make your jaw drop. Sophie just said something on record that totally shatters the public narrative the league has been spinning. The WNBA insists they're on the verge of a breakthrough, but Sophie's description? It's the kind of truth that makes it clear they're nowhere near it.
Cunningham doesn't see a problem with Project B. Cunningham also spoke about Project B in the latest professional women's basketball league that's been announced. Not too many details are available yet about the league, but it was hashed out by a group of investors who initially hoped to create a rival to the NBA. When that didn't work, they turned their attention to the W and women's basketball. For Cunningham, the appeal of the new league is financial. We know Sophie's about the bag. She want her bread. Project B is reportedly offering some players $2 to $3 million salaries to participate in the league from November to April. That's not a short season, though. She said, I don't know much about it. You know, you see stuff on social media, but I know how social media goes, so you got to take it with a grain of salt. But, you know, if people are going to be paying you multi-million dollars deals, why would you not?
If someone is offering you multi-million dollar deals, why on earth would you say no? There it is. The question that rips the WNBA's entire negotiating stance to shreds. And here's what most people completely miss. The league isn't just battling Project B for talent, they're up against something far more fundamental, plain human logic. Sophie isn't chasing greed. She's not betraying anyone. She's been open about her goals, buying a home, securing her future, protecting her family. At the peak of her market value, she's being asked to turn away generational wealth just to honor league exclusivity. Seriously, who could blame her? And yet, it gets even darker. Sophie just tore a massive hole in the social justice image the WNBA has been selling. What she revealed about that narrative? Absolutely shocking.
Listen, I've been very clear. If Project B called KTV on the way to Project B. It is what it is. It is what it is. And she's been very clear about where she stands in all of this, and that she's trying to get paid. It's the business. My whole thing is there are some social warriors and advocate warriors who going to Project B has been a complete contradiction of all the things they've been trying to push for in WNBA and all this other stuff. I wish they would have just said, hey, man, we just want to get paid more, and they could stop all of this other foolishness that they've been doing. And just say, hey, it's strictly about the bread. We could respect and understand if it's strictly about the bread, but once y'all all try to be like this activist league and all this other stuff.
All right, this part hits hard. For years, WNBA players have painted themselves as warriors for equality, fighting for fair pay, workers' rights, and a league built on principle. And I'll give them credit for that fight. But now, Project B rolls in with something tangible, real money. Not vague promises. Not future revenue sharing. Actual contracts that could change lives. And just like that, all the activism? Suddenly it fades into the background. Sophie? She just spoke the unspoken truth. This is about one thing, the money. It's raw. It's honest. And it obliterates the carefully crafted narrative that this was ever anything more than getting paid what you're worth. And honestly, I get it. Every player deserves to claim their peak earnings. But let's stop pretending this is a moral crusade. The moment a better offer lands, loyalty goes out the window. And the real bombshell? Sophie's glimpse into her future with the Fever. This is where heart, ambition, and career collide, where personal drama and business reality slam into each other with no warning.
Sophie Cunningham addressed her future with the Fever. Cunningham also admitted that there's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to the WNBA's 2026 season, which makes it more difficult to know if she can plan to be on the Indiana Fever next year. Like most of the league, Cunningham will be a free agent, and her spot on the team is not guaranteed. There's a lot of uncertainty, like you said, with the CBA, with the money, if we're even going to have a league next year, and then people want to come back. We're trying to keep our core together. The Fever battled through several season-ending injuries, including Cunningham's own. Yeah, this was a season from hell for the Indiana in terms of injuries, man. And put in a strong performance during the WNBA playoffs this season.
The uncertainty is staggering. We might not even have a league next year. Let that sink in for a moment. Sophie Cunningham, a cornerstone of the most watched team in WNBA history, can't even be sure the league will exist. And this isn't idle speculation. This is insider knowledge, coming straight from someone living it. The WNBA is teetering on the edge, and the cracks are visible to anyone paying attention. Here's where it gets explosive. Sophie wants to stay with Indiana. She wants to play alongside Caitlin Clark. She wants championships. But she isn't willing to gamble her financial future to do it. This is classic high-stakes game theory unfolding in real time. The league thinks it can force loyalty over logic with exclusivity clauses. But Project B has rewritten the rules entirely. The money on the table makes the decision painfully obvious. And once Sophie makes her move, you better believe Kelsey Mitchell is taking notes. Aaliyah Boston is watching. Caitlin Clark is watching. And this is the exact scenario that should have every WNBA executive losing sleep at night.
Bring back Caitlin Clark. Obviously, the GOAT, it's her team. You re-sign Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hall. That's our core four, period. That's the core four, the original core four from Caitlin Clark's rookie season. Caitlin, Kelsey, Lexi, Aaliyah. Then after that, you bring back Sophie Cunningham and you bring back Michaela Timpson, and we go from there. I'm open to Ari McDonald coming off the bench. She does not have to. She doesn't have to be here, but I'm open to her coming off the bench. I'm open to a Chloe Bibby return. Those are some things I'm open to, but they don't have to happen. They don't have to be here.
Sophie's talking about rebuilding the core, but listen closely, this is bigger than just a team. She wants Caitlin, Kelsey, Lexi, Aaliyah, and herself all back together. The kind of lineup that forms the bedrock of a championship. But here's the catch, every single one of those players is either already a free agent or about to be. Every single one is getting calls from Project B, and every single one is running the same calculations Sophie is right now. The crazy part? The WNBA dug this hole themselves. They had years to craft competitive salaries. Multiple chances to lock in deals that would keep stars happy and loyal. But they got complacent. They assumed loyalty would outweigh logic. They believed players would sacrifice for the so-called greater good of the league. And now, they're blindsided. Shocked. Because Sophie Cunningham is speaking on the record, laying bare the multi-million-dollar offers from a rival, and exposing just how fragile the league's grip really is.